So I think the first fascinating thing about your story is where you came from. How did you overcome the issues that you had with the legal system?
Well, it was a challenge. I spent 10 years in federal prison. And for me, prison worked. The structure worked for me. It kind of like was an adult timeout. It allowed me to discover who I was. It allowed me to figure out where I want to go in life. That time in prison allowed me an opportunity to be remorseful for the role that I played in mass incarceration in this country by selling drugs during the 1980s. But prison also became an incubator for education and mentorship. The first time I ever was told I was smart, I read my first book in prison. I studied with some brilliant African-American minds and white-collar minds in prison, and I learned to cook. And what I do today as a chef was born out of prison. I'm an author of 4 books, 1 New York Times bestseller. I learned to write better in prison. I grew up in there, and today I use my story and the strategies I use to transform my life is to help young men of color avoid the penal system, which is a $182 billion a year industry. 1 out of 4 black males between the ages of 18 and 23 are incarcerated in state and federal prisons. So I've dedicated a big portion of my life trying to fix my wrong by empowering young people to decriminalize their gifts. And that's what happens with a lot of young people. We criminalize our gifts. So I was able to decriminalize my gifts and figure out my path in life, which was becoming a chef and a motivational speaker.
What advice would you give to the kids, like the kids today, the DDA, at DDA,
Yes.
to staying out of the legal
Yes.
system?
My message to all the young folks here at DDA is that you gotta discover your gift first and foremost. You gotta have the right mindset to achieve in life. And you can't make the choices of getting involved in any type of criminal activity and making poor choices out in the streets, because that can dictate the outcomes of your life. These kids are extraordinary opportunity to be here in front of great mentors at Disney World with Steve Harvey, Essence, all the subject matter experts in various genres of professionals, and they need to take this and run with it. They got to make their choice. They want to live the American dream or become a victim of the American dream. So that's pretty much my message to young people. A little unorthodox and different from many of the other speakers here, but I think that having a voice of someone who was on the other side of the law, I think it's a good message to bring.
What about for those who are in the legal system? How do they reform? A lot of them end up going back
Yes.
to crime. How do they reform like you did?
Well, men and women who are in the system, the way you transform is by eradicating the criminal mindset. And you need to have that epiphany, that event that takes place in your life that says, I want to change. Everybody doesn't change, but they have to make that choice. So that change process begins when you discover who you are, your gift, your greatest strength, the things that you do extremely well at the highest level. Then you have to look at what were you doing on the streets that you were successful as a criminal. How do you decriminalize that and use that as a parallel to become successful on the outside? That's what I did. Sold drugs, marketing, public relations, relationship builder, ability to sell, things like that. And that's what I do today. I just change the product and repackage the hustle.
Final question.
Yes.
You're a world-renowned chef at one of the greatest hotels in the world. Formerly.
Yes.
How did you enjoy that position and the notoriety it gave you?
It was a long journey for me. It wasn't easy. I've been out of prison 20 years. I came out in 1996 as a dishwasher. I worked my way up. I had to rebrand myself, re-image myself. I had to chameleonize myself to some degree to make that felony jacket disappear. And that was the struggle that I had. I was the only chef of color in most restaurants that I worked in. So I just figured out that strategy. I created that vehicle to be successful. And this is what our people need to do. They need to create that vehicle to achieve what they want to achieve in life.
Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.